we take you to Empangeni, in Empangeni to be specific, where at least one person has died following a sudden storm yesterday. Karinda Jagmohan has been visiting various affected sites, and she joins us now for the very latest. Karinda, place yourself for us and tell us what it is that you are witnessing there.
Certainly, good afternoon, Dudu. Well, we have been visiting the various affected areas like you mentioned, and I wanted to show you the impact of the storm that happened just yesterday here in Empangeni, Richards Bay as well, just about 2 hours north of Durban. Now, these are trees that have been almost ripped out of the ground, and this happened in about 20 minutes or so yesterday, according to residents. That is how the storm came. They said about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, suddenly the skies went dark and it began hailing, severe gusts of wind as well. Trees were uprooted. They said that branches, sticks, rocks were flying around, and of course some areas have had bouts of flooding, but not mass localized flooding. However, they're still severely impacted. So you can see the damage here as well. The vehicles that you're seeing are hired bakkies by some of the residents and community groups made to try and clear out these areas. We started off today at a warehouse just nearby the Empangeni town, where the roof of the warehouse was ripped away by the storm and a number of valuable products were damaged. We then went to a community healthcare clinic, a police station, the local fire department as well, all which suffered damage. There are houses as well that have been damaged in a similar manner. Mostly the roofs have been impacted, so just by the matter of trees falling on some of the houses. So you can see here what has happened. One of the most tragic moments of the day when just visiting the areas was speaking to the son of a man who died yesterday. 53-year-old Petrus Kumbane was a construction worker. He was working in the nearby Empangeni town, and when the storm hit yesterday, the scaffolding and the bricks that he was working around, the scaffolding fell apart and he died while at that construction site. We spoke to his son Alfred, who tearfully told us about how just before the storm came, he gave his son money and sent him home to take care of the children, and ultimately saving Alfred's life essentially. Take a listen to what he had to say.
And then washinchiwe suddenly ubaba wacela ubhuti uKhayela ukuthi ehle washa amathuluzi. Mayehle washa amathuluzi kwaba nomoya strong, yena wawubona ngoba ubebuka ngala uqhamuka ngakhona bona besithwe udonga. Wangena kwi-container kunemvula, then mayethi uyaphuma isana imvula udonga selwile. Mayethi uyafika ufica omunye wabo uyalenga lapha phezulu ubambeke ngekhanda uphicizwa ama-blocks. Mayethi uyachecka on the other side, uze umunye uyamemeza kambona umemeza ngaphansi kwedini, then bezama ukuremove idini. Mabethi bayiremove idini, if ebone nobaba then ethuka ukuthi awubaba emmemeze thola ukuthi ubaba kasekho.
Our department, especially city development, is having some programs. There is money put aside and approved by the draft budget to address issues of climate change. The Department of, for instance, Community Services, Waste Management, they are putting up plans to assist, augment, so that we can continue to protect. But also we're calling on, government to actually put more funding on the programs that will see us actually addressing this issue, or rather minimizing incidents of that nature. And because it's very bad. Yesterday, for instance, we have had to have no planes landing in Richards Bay. We have had to cancel all the flights and all that. So you can see the level of inconvenience, the lives we continue to lose, that we ought really, all of us, as communities, as government, as business sector, as individual households, we need to work together to actually make sure that we mitigate the factors of climate change.
Absolutely. Well, there you hear then Alfred speaking about the death of his father yesterday, and of course at that point we saw the place where his father had died in this freak storm essentially that happened yesterday afternoon. And then you heard words from the Umhlatuze local municipality mayor. We asked him about, of course, the help that is going to his municipality is going to try and give to the local residents. But over and above this, the issue of trying to secure this area because of climate change and the natural disasters that come with it. I mean, Dudu, you'll take a look here at just how the street has been impacted specifically by the number of trees that fell onto the road, just showing you the severity of the storm. Now, I'll also remind you that in 2019, during Easter at that time, there was another severe bout of weather, and we saw then at the Langubo area, just nearby the Empangeni area where we are now, dozens of people were affected there. A number of people were also killed when a church tent collapsed. And since then, we have seen a number of such instances where natural disasters have occurred. Of course, we know about the severe bouts of heat, especially during the summertime, but we also know over the past few years, whether it's Ladysmith Inland, KwaZulu-Natal, Northern KZN, or in Durban last year, there are also bouts of heavy rain, torrential rain and storms, bringing about localized flooding. Like the mayor says, it can be attributed to climate change, and there needs to be now a way forward to consider this changing weather pattern and how to secure people against it.
Okay, Karinda, Jagmohan, let's go back to the scenes that you saw at the airport. I mean, as you were doing the crossing about an hour ago, you had to move a little bit as parts of the roof were still caving in. Just remind our viewers of the extent of damage there and what authorities are saying in terms of how long it's going to take to repair.
Certainly, Dudu, there were parts of the ceiling of that airport that were ripped out. Similar instances happened at the local fire department, a police station we were at, as well as some homes nearby, and in the more rural area around Empangeni, so that's the Ngwelezane area. We were there just a few hours ago, where we saw the ceiling or the roof of those various buildings being ripped apart, swept away by the severity of the storm, so the heavy winds. And that's the cause for concern. So right now, as you go around this area, you'll see either vans that are collecting the trees that have fallen over, and you'll see construction vehicles that are now trying to find some temporary solutions with regards to the damage to buildings. We know one person has died at this point and a number of people have been injured, but if you go on social media, especially late last night and this morning, you would have seen those videos online trending. As we know, a lot of this is posted on social media, showing what appeared to be a blizzard of some sort. Some of the local residents, in my conversations with them, were worried that it was a tornado or a hurricane, but they were so shocked about how quickly the storm came and left, and the enormity of the damage that it left behind. Considering all of this happened in a matter of minutes, I'm going to maybe frustrate my cameraman just to show you the tree behind us, if I may, to show you the severity of the storm and how this gust of wind ripped apart part of the tree. So walk with me. This is what came off of the tree behind us. So this large tree trunk, and that right up there is where that tree trunk was originally from. So the gust of wind it caused an impact to this trunk, and it was basically hanging off the edge until construction workers came, and they're just trying to clear this road. But you can see how thick this tree is, or how strong it is, and then you can imagine, Dudu, how strong the gusts of winds were, just to bring you in the picture of what exactly happened yesterday. And those videos that emerged on social media, of course, tell its own story too. The biggest concern is how quickly this happened. Some say it happened in a matter of 10 minutes, others in 20 minutes, but we know that it was at least less than an hour, with very short notice, unfortunately, about this impending disaster that this happened. So, of course, residents at this time are worried about the further impacts that this could have, just in terms of the ever-changing weather patterns we see, not just here in KZN or South Africa, but worldwide. Dudu.
Karinda, Jagmohan, thank you very much for that comprehensive update.